Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Chantele. And we're here to discuss the finale of the Challenge USA.
Yeah, we are, because you know what? We have thoughts, we have opinions, we have things to
Mhm,
say.
mhm, 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 mhm.
But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Hello, everybody. Thank you for waiting for us.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience. Getting back into the real world and not just doing everything from home, you forget about things like traffic. And then, when you get home, things like your computer stops working, life stuff. But I'm here and I'm actually, I want to hear your thoughts because I think that it's going to be interesting.
I mean, when I was watching, I was like, I have to understand. I need Chantel to talk to me because this is my first time, right? You guys know, I didn't really know what to expect. And this is not what I
It's not
expected.
what I
So,
expected.
okay, yeah, a lot of people chimed in with like, but a lot of people have also chimed in with like, no, it's always like this. So let's get through it. Let's talk it through, and we can discuss what was crazy and what
Mhm.
was not crazy, I guess. But the first part of this episode is the last elimination. So
Yeah.
we do have a daily here, and we do need to go through deliberation. We see Kayla and Enzo talking at the top of this episode, just setting us up. Angela or Alyssa need to go into the arena. Alyssa wanting to show she's a true competitor and strategist, and Angela ain't afraid.
Which is like this is great. I want people to be looking at who's been in really great positions throughout the game and not the underdogs kind of being afraid to go against some of these people just because they don't necessarily have the numbers. So sometimes what happens in the main show is that there's a big alliance that people are just won't even bother trying to infiltrate or do anything about it, and they just end up getting plucked off one by one. So I'm always happy to see people not wanting to just sit and just rest where they are, but like are looking for ins and cracks and ways to like better themselves in the game.
So we get a Skype call
I'm always
with
nervous about those.
Danny, and Kiki. We
And
love our Kiki.
Zoe.
Our little
It's
Zoe.
so cute. It's so
Little
sweet.
baby Zoe.
So when I saw
Uh,
that, I'm like, either he's winning the game or,
it's bye
well, no,
bye.
or it's like he doesn't win at all. But like, I'm
Yeah.
just worried about like, it was more of a winner's thing though when I saw him
Yeah.
get that.
That's my first thought. I mean, I think I was thinking women's elimination. I'm not really
Yeah,
worried about Danny right
yeah,
now. And if he
exactly.
gets a Skype call, and I was like, Danny's winning at it. Oh,
Right.
here we go.
Yeah. Hmm.
But very fun to see Zoe dancing. It's just really cute. Then, oh my gosh, not this creepy nighttime truck expedition out to just darkness and water and puzzles. What?
I mean, it's great. I love
Yeah,
a
it's great.
nighttime challenge.
Yeah,
I thought that this one was a good one. They have the scary factor, everybody kind of Blair witching it in the
yeah,
truck. You get the
yeah.
sound bite of Tyson being like, "I love hearing the screams of people. It soothes me," or something to that effect. And there's multiple elements. So we had to swim with it. We had to go and get these tires that have different point values on it. And to unlock these higher point tires, you have to do a puzzle of some sort. So I love that it has so many different factors in doing it, being a good at this particular daily. So I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. When I realized that they were having to do puzzles to, release these higher point tires and stuff, I was like, oh, dang, like this, yeah, this has, it's not just physical, you got to really think some things through here. Um, Angela is going to climb over Kayla on this rope. And then Sarah is going to shove her head
Like,
and hoist Kayla
here
up the
you
rope.
go.
Yeah,
It's like an
a
animal
little
that's like helping
boost.
its young up
Yeah,
the hill.
yes. Um, Tyson and Ben are the first out of the water. No surprise there. Cut to Enzo is the last person in the water.
I mean, no surprise there either,
Who was it? Danny who was like, and what we do know is Enzo will always be last. Cut to. I was like, oh, this edit.
I
Oh,
mean, we do know this, especially if there's a swim involved, right?
Yep. Alyssa is not wanting to waste time on the low points or spend too much time on the highest point. She's looking for mid range here. And Angela had already told us she wanted this highest point pink tire. But now we're seeing, oh, wait, she's still on this puzzle?
Yeah. I mean,
Still there?
I'm good at slide puzzles, so I can't imagine taking this much time. And what I was thinking is that, hey, like, well, actually, no, was it who said it? Michelle, either Michelle or Matthew said it, and like I'm agreeing with they should have done this. And so just have Angela say, Tyson, here, you do this, you get this 20 points, and I'll go and start running and getting and collecting some other points, since he was able to get the slide puzzle instead of
Yeah,
her working on it for way too long to make her
way.
really not be able to be competitive, because all like the next higher point levels are all going to be gone as well. And so I thought that like if she just said, said, Tyson, here, you come and do this, gather this 20 points, I will ensure that you probably are going to be top dog here.
Yeah,
And that would be really a lot more helpful, because we know in the end there was a tie. And if there wasn't a tie,
right?
that would have been better for
Yeah, right. Next best thing. If you cannot do this, Angela, then yes, Tyson should be winning this. But she is on this puzzle until they give us the 145 countdown. We are 15 minutes left in the 2 hour challenge, and she finally gets it. And I just couldn't imagine myself or anyone working on a puzzle for that long. Like,
No, I would have forfeited it. But I can't imagine. Like, how are you good with slide puzzles? How are you with them?
yeah, I mean, I'm good with puzzles in general. Slide puzzles aren't my top. I'm more of a Sudoku girl
I
myself.
mean, I
Uh,
love a good Sudoku. The fact that people don't know how to do a Sudoku, I thought it was a cultural phenomena. Like, I thought that just
yeah,
everybody knew how to do Sudokus. Like, I have
yeah,
Sudoku books, and my mom does a
yes,
Sudoku every day. I used to do
yeah,
a Sudoku and a crossword puzzle
yeah,
every day during high school. So, like, I just
yeah.
can't even imagine that, but we'll get there.
Right. Yeah. No, same. 100%. Okay. Everyone else is just getting lots and lots of tires. They're whatever points, they kind of are just like grabbing whatever. Ben, he just gets excited at some point and boom, it's dark. All we know is crash, boom, bang, Ben is down.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have to be slightly careful when you're in the dark and running at full speed carrying things. But from what he said, it seems like he tripped on something that he couldn't see because he was holding
Yeah.
the tire, and
Yeah.
he fell and kind of onto his shoulder, which is
Yeah.
never sounds good when you hear someone's confessional about an injury.
No, he was like, crushed my shoulder. I was like, oop, that does not sound like a minor 3 stitches Enzo situation here. Tyson and Dom are going to tie at 52 points. So they
I,
are both going to win.
I was shocked that Dom got so close to Tyson, but I'm thinking that Tyson must have spent quite a while on that slide puzzle, like maybe a good 10 minutes, that allowed Dom to be able to be competitive in that challenge to him.
Yeah. TJ is going to be like, cool, y'all are both winners. That's fine.
Which is
Sarah?
this was the first time where I was like, why isn't there a tiebreaker? Why
You're
is it
like,
time the tiebreaker? Like it
you're like,
almost always is.
Are rules fluid? Is that what we're starting off here with?
Yeah, that was my first like double. No. What? This is silly. Like I thought that was going to be one of the first things, because you had mentioned to me that there was a lot of reasons why people might be a little bit upset and may not want to do press. And so that was the first thing I'm like,
this one was minor. This is
I know,
even...
but this is just me watching, right? Like
yeah,
I'm just like,
right.
That's weird, but okay, it's fine.
I was okay with it because I was like, oh, cool. We get basically 3 people have to figure this out. And I'm up for, we talked about like what happens if they can't agree or, so I thought 3 people, this is an interesting dynamic.
But it's 3 people on a women's elimination. So like 2 guys are choosing the fate. Anyways, that
Yep.
also kind of was annoying me, because I was like, well, I would love to have the option be like, oh, because Tyson say and Sarah can't come to an agreement, then Sarah has to go down and defend it because she, you know what I mean? Anyways, so go on.
Well, here we are. Sarah is going to get 42 points, and she will be our winner here, our woman winner. This is her first win, and she reminds us that she never won any immunities on Survivor. So this is like her first win ever, is what she's telling us.
And she did a good job. Like, good win. I wonder what would have been different if Angela realized that she can't do a slide puzzle at like 2 minutes in, and then like what would have happened. So that was definitely a miscalculation on Angela's part, but she did better than all the other women that were there, so good on her for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Angela is going to lose. This is where I got shocked though. Like, I don't know. Angela's Superwoman. So even though she wasted all this time on one puzzle, I didn't realize she was going to lose. She only has 24 points. And we know 20 of them is that one tire. She only was able to get 4 more points with something, and she is guaranteed going into elimination.
See, the issue is that she didn't have any more tires to find because she spent all that time. Everybody, male, female, are collecting all the pointed tires. So she probably was running around looking and just being like coming up to a dead end. And so she definitely misstrategized this challenge.
Yes, she did, unfortunately. Tyson and Angela are going to discuss before they go into deliberation here, and they kind of get on the same page with wanting to pitch for Kayla not being a good partner for the final. And, Angela's like, she's got no upper body strength. She couldn't go up that rope. But she also is like, but I'm not going to say much in this deliberation. Like, I'm going to keep it short for Sarah.
And, even though I was kind of annoyed with Cinco for doing this, when Angela was doing it, I was like, yeah, you don't want to because you know that they're going to do whatever they want to do. Yes. So like Angela's not going to give them any ammunition to be like, I'm not going to give you who you want. It's like, you do what you want to do. I'm good with whoever you do. So.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with this strategy. She's close with Tyson, so talk to Tyson, but she's not close with Sarah. They're not working together. So when it's that conversation, yeah, your information can be limited. I think that's important strategically. But so in this deliberation with the 4 of them, the 2 dudes, Sarah and Angela, she says Desi and Alyssa have earned their spot in the final. I was like, that's got some bias in that. And her input is irrelevant, and she just gets up and heads on out.
And I thought it was a boss move. So did Tyson. I was like, yeah, just get out of there. Like, there's no point in doing this. I know they need to have the clip of the deliberation, but it's not going to come to any conclusion. And I was obviously irritated by Sarah's confessional being like, you could at least just try. Like, why wouldn't you just try? And I'm like, no, there's no point in trying in this particular situation.
I think the people who didn't like Angela getting up and walking out are just people who don't like Angela, right? Like, she has plenty of people who don't like her. Yeah. If their fave just got up and walked out, they'd be like, queen, energy, legend.
Yes, mic drop.
It's a boss move. And I think you just either like her or you don't. Yeah. But Tyson is going to go ahead and say, look, it's a hard no for Alyssa. Like, she's not going in. And Sarah's like, well, it's a hard no on Kayla. So I don't know. Going to have to figure this out. And I'm like, yes, let's figure it out. This is good.
But Dom is the decider. He's so soft, and he doesn't do usually what I want him to do. Now we're learning. At all.
I don't know that he has a direct line to you, Chantele. I'm not sure that he has to check in with you before he makes moves.
He doesn't have to check in with me before he makes moves. But if he wants me to like him, maybe I'm just kidding. He can do whatever he wants. It's his game. But
this is when I did not miss the Angela Tyler combo. This is when it comes up. Angela's gonna have a Skype call with.
I
Tyler.
thought that I'm like, okay, if Danny gets a Skype call, Angela gets a Skype call, it's her birthday. We see Tyler. We see her being emotional. Like now we're seeing like what she's fighting for. And so I was like, oh my God, they're both going to be winning the season. 100%.
Uh-huh.
That's what I
Yeah.
was thinking right there. I'm like, she's gonna go down in her elimination. She's gonna come back and she's going to win the season. Her and Danny. That was what I was thinking at this moment.
Right. You know what I'm realizing?
What?
I was spoiled. I knew who the winners were. So I hate that.
Right, because you would have,
So
yeah,
that's that exactly what you said is what I wanted to like explore when
right,
watching is
right,
like,
right.
oh wait, does this mean she's gonna win? But unfortunately, I didn't have that moment. But what I did have was, oh my God, Angela
Has a tear in her eye.
there's like fluid coming out of her face. Like, what? This is like so I was like touched. I did not have fluid, but I was touched. I thought this was so sweet. It was so lovely to see that Angela is human, that her relationship with Tyler is
Means so much
meaningful.
to her. And like,
Yes.
I mean, no matter what, like whether you like Angela or not, it's nice to see when people really love someone and someone loves them back. You know what I mean? Like it's like that's why I know you don't love shows, but that's why I watch some of these love shows because it's really nice to see people connecting and enjoying being around each other. And so
Yeah.
it made me like Angela even more.
Mhm.
I mean, I liked her from beforehand. I
Yeah.
wasn't bothered by her ice queendomness just because
No.
I'm a person that like, yes, I can be really warm, but like there's a lot of people that think that I'm pretty cold and that I'm like unapproachable and stuff like that. So I can relate to her to be like,
Exactly.
like sometimes if you had to get to know someone before they're going to be completely open, that's just how she is.
Yeah, sorry. I'm okay with Ice Queen-ness, but it was
Too.
nice to see that moment with her and Tyler. Sarah and Dom are gonna have a chat here. She's putting her foot down, y'all. Tyson's in the back seat, and her and Dom are in the driver's seat. And I was kind of like, wait, how? How?
It's
I don't,
because if they
I don't
vote
understand.
together, they get
If
what
they're
they
together,
want.
sure. The
And
two people together are in the driver's seat. Okay, that I
And
get.
it was also annoyed me that she was like, we spent this whole season like everybody, like Tyson making everybody's life here miserable. And I'm like, what? I'm sure the people that like Tyson in the game enjoyed his company. Like you and maybe Ben a little bit and maybe Kayla are the only people that seemingly don't actually like Tyson. But
Yeah, well, is what she really saying is, ugh, when other people win, it makes me miserable, is
fair.
basically what
When
it
I
is,
don't have the
right?
power and I'm not running the show,
Yeah,
whoever does is making
yeah,
my life miserable. Absolutely.
right. Yeah, it is annoying when other people win and not you. Yeah,
And you're not aligned with them.
but it's kind of the game, so well, I don't know what else to tell you. All right, let's go to this arena. This is the pole wrestle that Chantel's been telling me about.
I'm
Guess
like,
what?
I think
Not
we
my
need
fave.
to get rid of all these headbangers. I don't care about Balls In. That was the one that Enzo and David did last
Right.
week. I don't care. It's not dramatic enough for me. I want more elements to it. If it's going to have that in it, I want a puzzle to be solved. Like I want other things in a headbanger. I don't care for it. I don't like the pole
Yeah.
wrestle. I never really did. I've seen so many horrendous pole wrestles that I'm like people breaking their ribs and like concussions. I'm just like, that's not fun for me to watch at all. And obviously the hall brawl is another one that we can retire it. I don't need to see it ever again. And it still reminds me how Leo was saying that they were signed a contract saying that there weren't going to be any of these headbangers. And it was just reminding me of that. I'm really upset by this. That like they're going to be putting themselves into this situation, even though they were promised that they wouldn't be. So
Yeah, it really felt like a bait and switch from just a viewer. Like we can talk about what we've learned about production as well, but as a viewer, they set me up with these incredible challenges. And I was like, this is why you love the challenge. These are incredible builds, and it involves strategy or some
yes,
sort of mental and physical combination. And then they
yes.
just kind of stopped and they were like, okay, and now it's a hall brawl, and now it's just like basketball, and now it's this pole wrestle thing. Like, I felt like they gave up on coming up with ideas.
But there's so like they've done hundreds of really good eliminations that you're just like, yes, this is a good one. Ooh, this is new. Like they've done things where they're climbing or where they're like breaking ice. Like they've just done so many different things that they could have done any of those type of things where you could really see people's heart in the situation.
Mhm.
There's one that I'm thinking of was where they had these kind of like breakaway bricks kind of thing where they had to break it through like a grate and then catch it in their wheelbarrow after and then run their wheelbarrow over and like put it through and like fill this container. And like they had to just do so many trips and carry all these bricks and smash like, and it just like people were exhausted, but like you were still able to be in control of your fate here. And you're not really going head to head against somebody else's strength. It was all against you, against your mind and your own body. So I prefer things like that, where if you're
Yeah.
going to try to test somebody's physical ability, I don't care for a hall brawl or whatever, these head-to-head combats. I don't watch boxing. I don't watch MMA. I don't watch anything, those type of sports. So
Right.
I don't watch
Yeah.
football. I know you watch football, but like I don't watch any of these kind of
There's
headbanger
there's
things.
strategy to football. It's not
Fine, but I don't
Yep.
watch any of those
Yeah.
things.
Well, Tyson is going to say to TJ, I want Kayla to go in. And Sarah's going to say, TJ, I want Alyssa to go in. And Dom's going to be the tiebreaker, which I love, that it's got to come down to a tiebreaker. And I also kind of love that Dom was like, I want Alyssa to go in because I like Kayla. I worked with Kayla.
Yeah.
We won a challenge together.
Absolutely.
I'm not throwing Kayla in. And that makes complete sense to me.
Makes total sense to me. I didn't, well, obviously spoiled kind of by the preview because you could very obviously see that it was Alyssa going down into a pole wrestle. So that suspense was pretty much gone. But I didn't really, I had no doubt in my mind that he was going to keep Kayla safe. I just knew it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I did wonder though if there hadn't been three of them and
what would have happened?
Yeah. So if it was Tyson and Sarah and they were like not going to agree, would they have defaulted to what you said they have done in the past, where Sarah would have gone down?
Mm-hmm.
And Sarah probably would have loved it. She'd be like, I'm more than happy to go down there
and take out Angela myself. Yeah.
And I would have.
I would have loved for her to do that. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to complain about her the whole season and how that she doesn't deserve to be there, like I would love to see you go down and take her out when you're safe.
Yeah. A head-to-head between the two of them would have been really good TV since they've been building up this rivalry
for
the
sure.
whole time.
For sure.
Well, sweet little Alyssa, who has I don't know if she's really sweet. I don't know. But little Alyssa.
Cancer, so probably quite sweet.
Okay, Cancer. A little water sign Alyssa is heading in to not only go against her bestie in this game, but one of the comp beasts, if not the comp beast of this season. And she knows in her gut this is not going well. And Angela also knows, and I appreciate that Angela's like, I'm just going to do my best to do this quickly and get it over with.
Yeah. I mean,
she does.
She did not have any trouble at all. And what I thought was really interesting is after she got the first point, so it was best 2 out of 3, that I thought she was badass. I don't know if you noticed it when she like tossed the pole over to TJ after she was done the first round. I was like, yeah, that's like badass energy right there. And then when I forgot, I lost my train of thought. Never mind. I'll come back.
Was it when she just basically grabbed the pole and flung Alyssa down on the ground and then flings her up into her arms for a hug?
Here you go. Sorry.
I had feelings. I was like, what? Because I mean, not that I was crying, but like that was touching to me because it was so like forceful that she like just shoves her down to win, but then just like aggressively also picks her up for like this emotional goodbye. Oh, it took me on a journey. I was like,
wow. What I was going to say was I thought it was interesting how they edited in some confessionals talking about like not wanting Angela to be in the game anymore. And like, we need a chance to take Angela out. I'm like, but she just won round one very easily.
Yeah.
I'm like, is Alyssa going to end up beating Angela? Is Angela going to lay down her sword so Alyssa can win? Like, what's happening here? Why are you trying to make it seem as though Angela's not going to win this? And then she won it literally 10 seconds later.
Yeah. It was yeah. Well, I was glad it was over, and I really did love this emotional moment of these two women who basically only had each other, I guess, girl wise,
Mm-hmm.
women wise. Didn't seem to have other female alliances in the house. So that's it. Bye, Alyssa.
Bye, Alyssa. But
You,
TJ did say that he hopes to see her in the future. And so that's something that I don't think we talked about it on this pod, but TJ doesn't always say, hope to see you again. We'll see you in the future. I can't wait to have you back. And so she did get this from TJ, which means that she will get the call probably now anytime there's a season going on.
yeah, I think it makes sense. Like she was no Angela Beast, but she held her own, and
She
she
always tried. She was trying
played.
to do something.
Yeah,
Yes.
she tried strategy, whether it worked all the time or not. Like she was trying conversations, and so I mean, it makes sense to me to have Alyssa back on the show. But let's move into the last part of this, the finale, the
I was
final.
honestly, Sarah, I was really excited for this finale. I really was. I did hear,
Girl,
obviously,
same.
beforehand that like the finale was weird things happened. I kind of heard about a quit, but like I wasn't sure in like what that meant. And so I was already kind of looking to see what that's remember I was saying like, oh,
Yeah,
maybe there's a food portion that maybe like Angela doesn't want to do it. And even before that, I was thinking like, oh, maybe Leo doesn't eat as like say pork or something like that, and so maybe like that came into play, you know what I mean? Like, so I was always trying to figure out what was going to go on in the final to make people potentially, or I thought person potentially
yeah,
quit.
right. Yeah, I remember. I don't remember what part it was, but at some point you messaged and you were like, "Is this the thing that we're waiting to see?" And I was like, "It's a list of things we're waiting to see." It wasn't going to just be one moment. This whole final is full of what?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I actually think for me this final really has put a bad taste in my mouth for the challenge in general. And I had a similar experience when I was watching All Stars 2. So just to get you up to date as so All Stars 2 is basically All Stars is a franchise started by Mark Long, who was on the original Road Rules. So he's 50 years old and he wanted to bring back the OGs. So we want OGs was the hashtag that he started just to see if people would be interested in seeing players from 10 plus years ago, 15 years ago to come back and play the challenge. And so it was really successful. Season one was great. Seeing people like my age that I've grown up with, like playing the challenge, loved it. Season two, though, the whole season was amazing for the most part. And then the finale had all this funny business going on where the producers were giving one particular team a code that they didn't give the other teams to unlock a box and being like, oh, and then this wasn't working. And then they were like, oh, just run, you want. Like, it was just so much funny business going on. And hearing the accounts of the people that were there, it's like, the producers are seemingly getting too comfortable with trying to steer the narrative in a direction that they want. And so I was like, I'm not excited for All Stars 3 anymore because like I really had a bad taste in my mouth from that season. All Stars 3 came around, obviously, like I forgot how upset I was, and it wasn't as bad in that regard with like seeing the heavy-handed production interference. But this finale was like, it made me really upset. It made me like, why can't they be completely transparent? Why do they think that this is good TV to see people like not understanding the rules fully so then they lose or they quit? Like, it just, that's not what the challenge is to me, like tricking people into doing something. And so right now I'm pretty thumbs down on the production of the finals.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, upside, a positive spin on
Mhm.
this last episode is that each show is represented in this final. We see at least one person from all of the shows here. We're going to fly to the mountains in Patagonia. And once we land, we're going to tell Ben that his shoulder is broken and he is not medically cleared to do this.
Another thing that pissed me off, right? Like I was like, why? Like, why did they
Oh,
let Ben get on the plane? We saw in the previous like episode, I guess, or the first half of the evening. We see him talking to Sarah and being like, Sarah, like we're gonna be running the final together. Amazing. I'm just gonna go get this checked out by medical, but like we're gonna run this together. And so we see that moment. And then we see him on the plane. And so, like, what the lead up is like, ha ha, we made you think that you were cleared to do this, but like actually you're not. We're taking your dream away. Like, that doesn't feel good to
like,
me.
doesn't it cost money to fly him to Patagonia and then have to fly him out? Like, I feel like it would have logistically just made more sense to tell him beforehand. It doesn't matter. Just put a camera on him to us when you tell him. So yeah, this is really crappy that he's now standing there not cleared, but talking to him in the exit interview, like it was actually broken, which they should have known immediately. This wasn't like,
Uh,
let's do
a
some
bruise, he can't
tests.
see what's going on there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, his shoulder was actually shattered. He had to have pins put in. And so, yes, okay, now I understand that, yes, he definitely needed to be cleared. It just, of course, is so sucky to start the
Absolutely
final
so
this way.
sucky. Absolutely. And then I was thinking, I'm like, well, maybe they can pull in David because David's probably hasn't left Argentina yet,
Hmm.
right? Because they've done that before. I've definitely seen other very close to the final or at the final stage where somebody gets swapped in because somebody wasn't able to participate. So I was thinking that, hey, maybe that's what they're going to do. They're going to show David running around the corner and being like, oh, like, I'm sorry, Ben, that you can't compete, but I'm still here. Like, I'm going to be coming in your place. I was
Yeah.
hoping kind of for that.
I don't know why they didn't do that. I bet they wish they had, because it's only going to go downhill from here. Production. I think they would have. It would have been better if it had been even numbers. But that's our first. Now we're going to learn the rules here. You got to cross the finish line to keep the money. If you quit, you lose the money. And me, newbie, I was like, quit? I've never
There's
watched
nobody.
a competition show where you quit. Like, quitters, if you quit in one
Stephen
of the
hates quitters
shows,
for one thing. So quitting is not really that much of an element of the final. Like it's always
okay.
pushing you to the extreme. This final in general, I don't think it's harder than the hardest finals that I've seen. I think it's right there in the middle. I think it was challenging. I thought it was a fine final, but what ended up happening with it were some of the elements that could have been controlled. But I've seen people quit because like heat stroke type things, like they're just like they aren't able to continue because it's too hot out and they're running. I've seen people quit because they couldn't do the food stuff before, but it's never a mass exodus, never.
Yeah, no, obviously people have quit, but I have always been like, oh, wow, what a quitter. Like,
Mhm,
because it's so rare,
mhm.
and it's so frowned upon. Like, people work so hard. Yes, a couple people have self evicted from Big Brother. Like, yes, there are quitters, but it's just not a norm that I was like, oh, wow, it's so. TJ's bringing it up to let you know the money goes back in the bank. And I just am pointing out that I was confused on why we would bring up quitting.
Now, did we see this coming out of his mouth, or was this
Yes.
okay? I wasn't sure if this was
Oh,
like a
a
voiceover.
VO. Yeah. I think it was coming out of his mouth, but you're right. It could have been.
Because sometimes
And
they
I
do
didn't
that
realize.
to fix
Fix it.
issues,
Yep.
right? Because like maybe they
Mm-hmm.
didn't state this beforehand, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
they thought that when, spoiler alert, they all quit, that they'd still get their money.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they thought it was making it to the final, and then now they put this soundbite in more rules that maybe that wasn't explicitly stated before they ran. Not
Mm-hmm.
sure, but
We'll have to go double check that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Good
So
point. But the algorithm is back, y'all, and
Mm.
they're going to be paired up, except for the one random person who is going to be by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And if your partner doesn't finish that line and quits, you are out as well. These are the rules we're given. I was like,
Right. I'm like, this is terrible. I mean, that's definitely been something that's happened before where I don't know if I've seen it in the final if your partner quits because they usually end up being like you get your individual points, whatever. I can't remember actually, to be honest. I can't remember if that's ever happened, but I've seen that it happened in the game, your partner. So if say your partner is DQ or like is kicked off the show or something like that, then and you're working in pairs for the season, I've seen people be removed from the season. I can't think off the top of my head if it's happened in a final before. I understand having this stipulation, but not when now we're down. Like it's not going to be even duos this whole time now, right?
right.
Like,
Well, you would think in a normal production, they're like rules are rules, but in this one, rules are fluid. So, all right. Well, I don't have a problem with the algorithm. A lot of people are like, oh, the algorithm was such a problem. I don't think
well,
so. Random
I
pairs
mean,
is fun.
I'm fine with
Sure.
the algorithm, but I'm curious as to why they chose. I feel like they might have decided who was going to be for each round, who's going to be the solo girl for each round.
Yeah.
That I
And
do think that they might have
and that's
doctored.
fine because that's setting up. Look, as long as you follow the rules, you can set it up. However, if you're like, these are the pairs, it doesn't have to be random. They can be produced every single time, is what it is. But, as we're going to see here, they changed their mind through this. But this first one,
Sarah's alone.
Sarah's going to be alone. We got Danny and Kayla. We got Dom and Angela, Enzo and Desi, Tyson and Justine. You are going to swim out 500 meters off of a barge and then do a puzzle. And yeah, sure, do that water challenge right off the bat and get a certain person out. But that means you're getting their partner out as well.
Well, I was thinking like kind of like Desi was. It's like, okay, well, I have Enzo first round. Like, I'll probably get last place with Enzo this first round, but I'll never have him again. So it's always going to be a really strong partner I'm going to have after getting 2 points here. So I can deal with this. Like, come on, Enzo, let's go, let's do this.
This was so hard to watch. I just heartbroken for Desi.
Absolutely.
I was like, oh my God, I don't think Enzo can even show his face on another TV show.
No, I gotta go. I don't care. I'm like, oh my gosh. And she's just like, please, this is for me. Please, just think about it. Like, I'll help you. Let me know. Leave me alone. Like, just flailing. And I understand it's cold. I understand he doesn't like water. But he's a life jacket on. Just allow her to tow you.
I
Just
know.
keep your feet.
The problem is once you see him start acting like that, then he's already crossed into the panic attack.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I guess you don't realize he's going to have a panic attack. If they had set it up where it's like, all right, you're going to just lay on your back in this life jacket. I'm going to just drag you along. We know we're going to be in last place. Let's just come up with a plan. But she's not a strong swimmer either, she's saying in this moment. So she was probably like, we just both got to try. Because once you cross into that panic attack, there's nothing you can do. Mm-hmm. And especially when you're in the water having a panic attack, a lot of times, like the Coast Guard will knock you out because you will violently thrash around thinking you're in danger when people are trying to rescue you. So there isn't anything you can do once he gets to that point.
I mean, I've never been to that point, so I don't understand it. But yeah. Like, I don't know if and I also don't know if they're allowed to just take off their life jacket and use it as a flutterboard, but like, that's what I would be wanting to do. I'll be like, hey, let's just take a leisurely flutterboard doggy paddle over to the other side. Like, I think maybe with having the life jacket kind of going up here, feel like you're obstructing your air passageway, and like then not being able to swim, and then being cold. I think that the multiple elements is what made him start to panic. But if he just used that and kicked his feet, I think that he would have been okay. But I think it's like the it raising up here when they
Yeah.
jumped in was probably what started the panic.
Right. And I do think the cold does make it
Right,
harder to breathe. And then that just, yeah, he needs to come to you, Chantele, for some
Yeah.
hypnosis to get through the fear of water. He did talk about in his exit interview with me that in that first buoy one where you jumped into the water, he took in a lot of water and that
Got
became like a
scared.
trigger. Yeah. So his
Mhm.
already not loving the water, and now he's got a trigger. This was just horrible. And in this moment, we were like, this is why we didn't want Enzo in the final, right? Like, this is why
100% why.
the women were like, we don't want to run with Enzo because of exactly what happened. And I just hated that it happened exactly. And now Desi's on the beach crying because she's
Yeah,
out.
she's crying and she's like, I don't even know if I can like forgive him for this. Like, I don't think I could forgive him for it either. Like,
Oh my
it
goodness.
really, because if she wasn't taken out, and this isn't something that I don't understand why they didn't think of shifting things around. It's like, wait, instead of having Desi have her dream taken out because of Enzo, we also have somebody running by themselves. So how about we just change it and make a girl on girl round every round? The two women are going to have to work together every round. I was like, that would solve their. It would still be unfair, but equally unfair to all the women. And it wouldn't leave somebody doing something alone. And so
Yeah.
I actually asked Tyson, like, if that was an option or did somebody think about this? And he said, we did suggest that to them and production said no. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what? Like, that
Right.
would have been such a good fix. I think it would have saved their final.
Yeah, I think that even if you prepared ahead of time that, ooh, we're going to do pairs, and if your partner doesn't cross the line, they're out, and then you realize someone is disqualified for medical reasons, like that's something they didn't see coming, right? It was going to be uneven and they hadn't prepared for that. Then yeah, go back to the drawing board and say, oh, well, all right, let's, if your partner quits,
Then you
we'll
get
just,
partnered up with
yeah,
whoever is the loose person.
yeah, we lose that rule or that part of this final and we switch it up so that it might be more even, right? Oh my God. Anyway, so Desi's
It's
out.
like
This
still
is
at the
awful.
beginning of the final, and it's like,
Well, I
I
mean,
so
we
many
barely
grievances.
started and we've lost 3 people on the very beginning of this final.
Before
Insanity.
finishing the first checkpoint.
Yeah. All right. Well, our finishers who do finish, Danny and Kayla are going to finish this puzzle first, even though they didn't land out of the water first. That was an
Nice.
impressive.
It was another slide puzzle I noticed, and I was like, I guess Tyson's not great at
What
slide puzzles.
what we learned about Danny, killing it at puzzles. That's what we learned. So 5 points to them. Sarah's going to come in second place and get 4 points. Tyson and Justine are third with 3 points, and then they're going to time out Dom and Angela and give them 2 points.
Okay,
That's
go.
it.
Let's
move on to the next one. They're pairing up Danny and Angela, Sarah and Tyson, Dom and Justine, and Kayla is going to be by herself. And now this is exactly the kind of food challenge that we were talking about last week that I love.
I know, it's good, right? And a lot of people were like, with what goes on later on in this episode or in this challenge, was like, oh, they catered this entire food eating challenge to Angela and look what she does. And I'm just like, we'll get to it. I'm just like, it shouldn't be something that people morally don't want to eat. No matter what, I think they should be taking this into consideration with people's food preferences, like, or like allergies or, religious beliefs, or like, I don't think that should be something that takes you out of the game. So
yeah, I would like all animal products taken out of this period, no matter who is racing it or running it or whatever.
This
So
is
this is
disgusting
it.
enough. So
This is disgusting. This is straight up torture to your body, to your taste buds. This is awful. You don't have to include, animal guts. This is plenty. An onion that's like a massive apple onion and garlic. Oh,
and
my
lemon
God.
to wash it down.
And Angela's like, look, this is what I cook. I'm going to just cut them up and I'm going to pour the lemon juice and And who was it? Dom was just like, eat it.
Yeah, just eat it like an apple. And she's just like cutting it up like it's gourmet, he said. Like,
Right. But guess what? She did it faster. So what we are going to see is that Angela and Danny, so they do have to leave this and then go do some math on a barrel as you walk out. So it's not just the eating. But Kayla, poor Kayla, is the last one there. I mean, we see lots of puking. We get farting. We get it all. But Kayla.
Wait, we get Justine's soundbite being like, I am an exceptional puker.
I was like, never heard that before. Okay.
I wanted to see like exorcist like levels of like projectile. I wanted this like do you know what? Okay, you know what I wanted to see? You would know this reference in Stand By Me when they're at the pie eating contest and like they crack the egg and
elephant garlic. Danny says elephant garlic. What is that? What it was? What does that even mean?
I don't know what that means. Does that mean
the
big?
Size of an elephant?
It's big, or it looks like an elephant foot, maybe.
Is that an actual cooking term, or
I don't know. I've never heard of elephant garlic before. Black
garlic,
regular garlic.
I don't remember this with Stand By Me. What are we?
Wait, it would Stand By Me when like so I can't remember the whole everything that happens around it, but they crack an egg to like coat the stomach or something like that, and then they're eating the blueberry pies, and it's a pie eating contest, and then he gets sick and he starts projectile vomiting the purple pie stuff, and then it was just like everybody was like, like. What? You forgot this, Sarah?
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in so long. I don't remember that.
Okay.
Fine. This is an actual I don't cook. I don't like garlic.
I love garlic,
so
Sarah.
I definitely wouldn't know about this elephant garlic that exists.
Okay.
But I would shove it down my mouth for this challenge. I would do it, and I loved that Kayla did a callback about maggot cheese.
She's like, I would love to bow down on that maggot cheese. I'm like,
she was like, give me the maggot cheese. Please.
No, I'm like the fact that it was so dry. It's like just thinking about how dry the maggot cheese was. Wouldn't that make you want to vomit as well? I would eat an onion and a garlic and chug that lemon juice any day over
right.
Cheese.
All right, Angela and Danny. Once again, Danny is up there in first place, gonna get 5 points. Kayla's gonna eventually get herself out there. I was worried about this if she was gonna finish, but she does, and she sets out on that trail. Sarah and Tyson are gonna come in second with 4 points. Dom and Justine with 3 points, and Kayla is gonna come in there at the end with 2 points.
Good on her, because like being left by yourself while everybody's gone and just having to like miserably eat this nastiness. Good on her for continuing it to finishing it. And they were really happy seemingly for her. Like they're like cheering her on when she was coming around the corner. So
right. That was so nice to see. And honestly, this is the one I would have wanted to do by myself, right? This seemed like the easiest one to do.
Yes, I would agree with that. Or the swim in the beginning actually was something like, okay, you just like, you don't have to worry about anybody else that's swimming. Like you swim over there, you solve your puzzle, like do it on my own.
That's true. That's a good one. All right. The third little leg here. We've got Dom and Kayla together, Tyson and Angela, Danny and Sarah, and Justine is going to be by herself for this one. There's a code wheel, some numbers. And Justine is like, wait, I got to memorize all these by myself.
Which is my point. Like that's why couldn't they just let Desi compete so there would be 2 people on that puzzle? Like having 10 numbers to memorize is difficult, and for one person then be stressing out, being like, oh my gosh, like I'm the only person here. Like I just didn't think that was fair. I get it that everybody was going to have to experience something on their own.
There's no fair in these shows. You gotta take it out.
But it was art. It's compounding right now, Sarah. It's compounding, and it's just making me really frustrated because it's not enjoyable. Rules make things fun. They do. You know, you were rules people, Sarah.
I love rules. I love it. But what your rules and fair are 2 different things.
Well,
the rule is she runs it by herself, period, full stop. So there's no fair or not about it. Here we go. What we do see though here, because I feel like this is an interesting point in the show.
On the bottom, the moniker, right?
Angela and Tyson are going to arrive first, going to finish first, 5 points. Danny and Sarah, Danny's right there, 4 points. Dom and Kayla get 3 points. And then Justine, we see her taking her time to memorize those numbers. She doesn't want to have to go back and do it again. So by the time we see her, it says timed out,
disqualified.
2 points. She doesn't get disqualified.
I could have sworn it said disqualified. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But I thought that I saw it say that, but they allowed her to go on. I could be wrong though. So I'm not dying on this hill, but I thought it said disqualified, which I was like, what? But then they were letting her still continue on without completing the other part of that particular task.
Interesting. Well, I did hear that there was that was Tyson talking about how
EW magazine
there was more to it with this comp. But what I took away at this point was, oh, well, poor Justine. I mean, she just times out, but you still get the 2 points, right?
Yeah.
So Justine didn't have to really, work so hard at memorizing all the numbers. She could have just done her best. Get up there eventually to the end. They're going to time her out. She gets her points no matter what. That's where my head is at this point.
Agreed. I was there, but I also was like, oh, they didn't make her finish this challenge. And so what this brought me back to was on that same All Stars 2. There was a part of it where the team that ended up winning, they were told that they didn't need to complete the challenge because another team, I think they disqualified themselves. I can't remember exactly what happened. And so they didn't have to finish the challenge and completely tire themselves out like the other teams did. And so I've seen it before that they've stopped people from continuing everybody else had finished or something like that. I can't remember how it went, but they didn't have to finish. And so I was like, this again, where people don't have to finish. Like I'm fine with Justine getting the 2 points and not finishing, but I thought that should have been maybe a precedent then that was moving forward.
Well, yes, exactly. Precedent moving forward, because I'm thinking, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. The puzzle people in the very first leg timed out. It was Angela and Dom. They were doing the puzzle. They timed out because production is like, let's move on. Everyone is done. You're going to get last place no matter what. Time you out. Great. Same position here with Justine. We're moving on. You're timed out. So now we move to this nighttime thing. I lost my place. It's super dark. They tell us it's like 10:30 p.m. at night. We've got Danny and Justine together, Tyson and Kayla, Dom and Sarah, and Angela is now by herself. They've got tents set out. You're going to move dirt over. And then Danny, feel free to chime in here, but Danny said in his exit interview that it was actually move it over once and then move it over, do a code thing, and then move it over again. So this actually did take like all night here. Everyone's miserable. They start their moving. Angela says, I think she does one, or we see her do one. And she says, what's the point? I'm going to come in last here.
And the precedent that had been set up until this point is that if you are alone for the most part, or you come in last, you'll just get the penalty kind of is that you'll get only 2 points.
Right. You're going to come in last no matter what. She's by herself. They were moving she was moving 2/3, which is still more
than half or what might have been what she would have done if she had a partner.
Right. Well, let's say each partner is doing roughly half. So she's doing 2/3. She's going to come in last by herself. I honestly, in this moment, said, that's such a smart strategy, Angela. Yes. Take the timed out part and take last place and get some rest.
Absolutely.
Is that where you were as well?
Well, I was like, well, if she's choosing to do this, anytime anybody has ever quit or has threatened to quit at like any portion of the final, TJ comes out and talks them out of doing it. And they're like, are you sure this is what you want to do? Like, you know how I feel about quitters. Like, don't quit. Like, he usually convinces them to stay. Or if they decide that they do not want to stay in the game, they'd be like, okay, well then get out of here. Like, I don't want to see you here again, whatever. And so
Right.
I was thinking that because we haven't seen TJ come out for this little thing or any sort of deliberation here, that it was going to be okay.
Yeah, you would think that there are producers.
Or they tell her, like,
by,
hey, don't do that. Like,
a producer standing by is like, hey, so the rules of this are, you got to do it or it's a quit. Are you sure that you want to quit? Like, right? Like someone would have just laid out the rules and just clarified before they actually quit. And I don't know, should Angela have, if it was one way and then another way, should Angela have just done one way? Like, how many hours working on it would it have?
Be not a quit.
Yeah.
Not an unintentional quit. And then also what Tyson was saying as well was that the team that won, so Dom and Sarah, if I'm not mistaken, were the only team that actually completed that particular task, that everybody else did not finish the whole thing.
Danny, are you still here? Can you confirm? Did only one team finish it? But you guys got some sleep. Danny said he got some, like a little bit of sleep. So if no one finished except one team, did they time you guys all out at some point? Oh, that's what you said, Danny. You said production wanted to go to sleep, and so they timed everybody out at some point.
And I guess because Angela was taking a nap at that time,
sleep,
that she didn't get this memo. But like, if she had a partner, her partner would have gotten the memo and being like, we had the least amount of dirt moved, so we're in last place. So
yeah.
So I'm here like, I mean, obviously we didn't know that when we were watching it, but I'm like, they would have told her that this would be a bad idea if it was.
Well, next morning, TJ's going to be like, Angela, what happened? And she was like, I went to sleep. I honestly, I was like, no lie, Angela. Be like, yeah, I worked hard, TJ. Just couldn't get it done, even though.
But she thought she was being smart and strategic, I think. Yeah. Being like, hey, like, I know I'm going to get last place. Why am I going to overexert myself? Like, I might as well just take the L and get some sleep, because we're going to be running a mountain tomorrow and I'm going to have to be someone's partner, instead of like completely depleting myself and also still getting 2 points.
Yeah, I guess there was some sort of like middle of the road where she needed to do
more. Fine. It's fine. But I really wish that they had, because I don't think that she wanted to quit, right? I don't think she wanted to quit at all.
She wasn't quitting in her head. She wasn't quitting.
Because like, if she knew that was going to be the outcome, there's no way that she wouldn't have continued to work, in my opinion. And so I feel like she... What?
They did speak to her. Thank you, Danny. They spoke to her for a long time when she made the decision, maybe hinting to her that this was a bad idea. They did the same thing to you in that same challenge. Okay. So they didn't come out and say this is going to be considered a quit. They were just like, do you really want to do this? Which, yeah, if they were hinting, then she should have like...
Why needs a hint?
Tried it a little bit longer.
Why just say like, hey...
Yeah.
If maybe
they were still figuring that out.
Right now, you will be disqualified.
Maybe they were like, we got to call the boss. We don't know if this is going to be a quit. I don't know. They're probably still figuring it out.
That's more of the transparency. Like, why did they want to trick her? I don't know why they wanted to trick her, though, because if it was, maybe it's wrong if they did have an in-depth conversation with her. I don't know what happened there. But from what it seems like, she felt, they said, you need to finish. But finish? Okay.
You need to finish is going to make you keep working, right? And then they're going to call it and say you're timed out. So you're not actually finishing, but you didn't know how long it was going to go until they timed everybody out except for one team.
I guess she was still thinking, though, it would be similar to the Justine situation where she didn't finish the task, but they decided to time her out. So...
Well, either way, whatever it is, they disqualified her. She's out the next day. And I don't know. Maybe they thought that would be
Good
good
TV.
TV? Maybe they didn't. Maybe at this point, I'm like, maybe they didn't like her and they wanted her out. But they also might have just thought it was going to be good TV since they might have been making up some of these rules on the fly. I don't know. But either way, um, she's disqualified, and the person I thought was winning for the women is out. She's out.
And I was like, okay, this opens it up still. Like I want to see people run to the end and fight. Like, I really don't like how Angela ended up going out. Obviously, I don't know all the backstory as to what has happened, but
Mm-hmm.
like, I really think that she would have made different decisions if
Yeah.
she wasn't at a disadvantage of only being by herself. I think that if she was, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, at this point, because we're hearing that, people were already mad at production, she
Mm-hmm.
might have been a bit over it.
And
And
maybe being
even,
defiant. She's an Aries, right?
right? So,
She might have been pissed for
she
sure.
might have been pissed. I don't know. We don't know. But at
Like,
this point,
I would be livid if I was like, have to do 2/3 of this challenge and I had to like completely finish it. Like, I'd be like, why do I have to do that for this particular challenge? Like, that's so unfair. Like, I could see me being defiant. So, and I don't have that much Mars in my chart. So
uh, I mean, it's hard. All of this stuff is hard. Like, that's a lot. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want to do it, but I wouldn't go on the show.
I mean, I
I'm
would
not doing
still, I
half
know
of
the
this
challenge.
stuff.
I would have just completed it and just been like,
Yes,
I would have just done it.
you
But
would have done it.
who
You have
knows
to power
though?
through.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do it. I would love to ask her these questions. She did not do exit press. She's out of the country currently, and she doesn't do a lot of social media and stuff. So I don't know if she'll do exit press when she gets back. But I would love to talk to her if anyone passes this video on to her, because it would be nice to hear her thought process and what she thought was
Like,
happening.
I was thinking like Angela would be an amazing staple on the main season. Like, it would be awesome to see her competing, and I felt like she was really in her element. And so of course, congratulations to Danny and Co. But like, I I definitely think that this whole final situation left a bad taste in her mouth, and I'm like, are we never gonna get her now? That sucks.
I know, right? You thought she was going to be like a staple on the show now, and now I don't know. Well, it's time to become an individual race, you guys. They survived. They
Like,
look like crap
couldn't
the
they have
next
done
day,
this as an individual portion? You know what I mean? If they're
and they
But go ahead.
stink. They stink. They look like crap. They look like they've been through hell.
Oh,
Oh my
okay,
God.
we'll get it
And
later.
they're going to go up this mountain all by themselves, well, individually, together. And the points are worth double. We get the overall points. Oh, also, it's rainy and the weather just seems like crap. We get the overall points. And so you kind of realize, like, you know where you have to finish to win here.
Yeah.
And I think that's also in your head, right? If you
Yeah.
can't finish in the place you know you need to finish, what's the point? What's the point in finishing?
Well, to get your bank account. But that's why I'm wondering if they didn't tell them that part, and that was like an add-on after.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause,
Overall
like,
points, we have Sarah and Danny in the lead with 17 points, but Tyson is just behind with 16
yeah.
points. Kayla's the next one at 14, Dom at 13, Justine at 11.
And I was pumped. I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna see Tyson versus Danny running up this
Yeah.
mountain. We knew that we're gonna see this battle. I was super excited to see it
Yeah.
go down, especially since Danny had been dominating this entire final so far. And I was like,
Right?
I want to see this epic finale. Like, I want to see them like go back and forth here. I was looking forward to this part.
Yeah. All right. Tyson's through this puzzle first. We see that. Then we see Danny passing Dom. He's through the puzzle next. Justine is going to pass Kayla and Sarah getting through this puzzle. Tyson is so far ahead. He's jogging. We see
He's
Danny
loving
just kind of
life.
walking at this point, and you're like,
Mhm.
oh man, Tyson's jogging and Danny's walking. What's going to happen?
And
Then
it starts to
Tyson gets to a
snow.
Sudoku. Then the Sudoku shows up in the show.
And it started to snow. So the temperature dropped as
The
well.
weather looks roof, and I do not go out in weather like that at all. And the fact that they were walking and running and doing puzzles in this, insane.
I live in Canada.
Oh, right.
And so this seems like my childhood, going to school on the bus. You know, my mom told me one time, she's like, there was like a huge snowstorm, and I took the bus like from school home, but it just took so long, and like every single bus was full and packed and full. And I think I was like 9 years old. I was super young, maybe 10, and like it took me like 4 hours to get home, and it was before cell phones and all that stuff. And when I got home, I just was frozen, and I just was
Oh my
crying.
God.
I just like,
Oh
and
my
like my mom
God.
just like hugging me and like I'm frozen solid. So I've definitely had that experience like many times, being cold
Oh,
and doing stuff
I'm
when I'm cold.
not good
I'm
at
not good at it, but I'm like ideal, you know?
right, right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if anyone enjoys it, but okay. So Tyson starts us off here at the Sudoku. We see Justine passing Dom on the trail, and then Danny shows up at the Sudoku.
And
And
I was like, oh my God, is Justine going to win it for the women?
yeah,
I was pumped. I was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna have the battle between Danny
yeah.
and Tyson going up the mountain, and Justine is going to take this win because Sarah does not look like she is going to finish that puzzle. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
whoa,
Sarah
okay.
still way back on the very first puzzle, right? That's where Sarah is as people start moving up. Now we hear from Danny that he's like, Sudoku, yes, please. Love it. And then Justine walks up and she's like, what's a Sudoku?
And this is another thing too. Like if Angela hadn't quit, like I don't know if she knows how to do a Sudoku or not, but she may have known what the rules were and just been like, yeah, you just have to make sure like you do 1 through 9 through in every single direction, like and then every single square is 1 through 9. And like if Tyson had that information, like he would have been able to still be competitive. And same with Justine, like they would have been able to figure it out. But from
I
what we're
think
sorry.
Tyson knows the rules of
No,
Sudoku.
it said follow the pattern, apparently. I don't know.
He knows the rules, but Sudoku can be hard. Like I don't know how hard this one is. Danny, are you still there? Did they tell you guys like the basic rules, or was it just like kind of figure out the pattern and figure it out? But even if you know how to play Sudoku, you can make a mistake,
Oh
and
yeah,
once
it's hard.
you
Yeah,
put one number in the wrong box and you
it's all
build
wrong.
off of that, and then you're down to 2 pieces, which is where Tyson is, down to 2 pieces, you don't know where you went wrong and you have to start over. And if you're that effing cold, like I can't imagine knowing that you have to start over.
For
Yeah.
sure. And like holding those magnets and stuff like that. I mean, it would be really frustrating. He knew the rules.
Of course he knows the rules. Tyson knows what a Sudoku is.
I don't
Justine might
know.
not have known,
I guess she's too
but
young.
they didn't actually explain it. Interesting. Just finish
Just
the
finish the
pattern.
pattern.
Interesting. Well, I guess I mean that is a pattern, but you'd have to figure you don't necessarily know that you can't
Do the diagonal. I don't know if it wouldn't be diagonal, but just like up and down and the squares.
I don't know. I don't know. But
Danny's it's not a pattern though. It's not a pattern. Anyways.
Danny's gonna spend a whole 5 minutes on this puzzle.
Yes.
And he's gonna be like, here I go, back out on the trail. Let's go. And I think honestly, like, let's admit, like, that's what got into Tyson's head. Like when you get down and you realize you have to start the puzzle over again, but
annoyed,
you know how long Danny left. And Tyson is 1 point behind Danny. If Danny finishes first, Danny wins. Tyson doesn't win, right? If the points had been different, then maybe Tyson is motivated to start the puzzle again, start over, because he knows even if he comes in second place, he still wins. But you know the points at this point, right?
Yeah. But you get to win your bank account, and what, you had like 17,000 or so?
Yeah, I'm so confused by this money part. Okay.
So it's because of the fact that Sarah in the end had more money in her bank account from the elimination that she won and this final daily that she won. And so
they ended up splitting.
But it was the rest of the money that everybody else was split in half. And so depending on what they had in their bank was determining how much they had in the end, if that makes sense.
Oh, I didn't realize they got two different amounts.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So
Oh,
Sarah had more money in her personal bankroll, and so they just split everybody else's money, which is something apparently
Danny, you
that
got robbed. Danny
definitely
got
Danny got robbed
robbed.
because I do feel as though he cleanly, from what I saw, completed, the whole final.
100%. Danny is legitimately the best player of the season. He marched through those puzzles and up that mountain and won handedly, while the rest of this is a hot mess. Yes. Okay. So Danny has gone through the Sudoku. He's up. Dom is going to eventually come over here. And Dom, see, at least edit wise, Dom is the first one who looks like he's not even doing the puzzle. He's looking off. And now Dom has really no shot at winning at this point, right? Danny's way ahead. Dom doesn't have
Now
enough
it's just for
points.
your bankroll. Yeah.
So Dom's going to stand there. Justine doesn't understand Sudoku. So she's going to stand around. And then Tyson gets to that point where he's like, I've screwed up the puzzle. I can't finish this. And so it seems to us in this edit that they collectively, the three of them, decide to step out at this point.
Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if Tyson kind of thought maybe like if they won't let all of us quit.
Yeah, that is so messed up that they didn't tell you guys honestly about the money.
Yeah,
That's insane.
I believe that they said it was they were playing for $500,000,
Right.
not
The
half of
whole
500,000, and then not your
and then,
share of 200.
yeah, and then Danny doesn't even get the half. Oh my God. Get real,
I mean,
people.
not a bad 5-6 weeks, but
Sure. But
that's annoying though.
don't tell me that I'm playing for 500,000 and then you're not even giving me that. Like,
and if more
right?
people had crossed the finish line, they would have gotten even less, right?
I guess that's why
Yeah.
I was so confused about
They
this,
would have
like
gotten
money going in the bank. And I was like,
like
what? Who cares if the money goes back in the bank? You're still just getting
no,
the
it's going
money.
into Danny and the other winner's bank. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, so Danny, you should be thanking Tyson and them for quitting.
It's true. It's
Seriously.
true. They got their money.
My
Taking them
gosh.
out in elimination, basically, so you can get their bankroll.
All right, back at the other puzzle. Kayla and Sarah are like here at the end, right? So Kayla's going to get through this first puzzle. This is when we see Sarah. She's still there, very confused by this first puzzle. She's like taking some breaks. We see her sort of like standing off to the side. And then when Kayla gets up to the Sudoku, she's like, yes, baby. And I was like, oh my God, Kayla? We're at the point where it's Kayla in the lead. Like she's running this. Nobody saw this coming. This is insane.
I totally agree. I was like, wow, this is like, I mean, get it, Kayla. Like you were definitely counted out, like for a lot of the season, and you have managed to get to a place where everybody else is not even there anymore. Like, go get up that hill at that mountain and get this money.
Kayla seems like she's in good spirits. She's like, I got this. There's no quitting me. All good. Then they show us a visual of her popping a squat to do the puzzle, to do the Sudoku. And that's where I think things went wrong. As someone who doesn't do winter or snow, I have learned that if my body touches the ground, it like to your core is not that's where your temperature drops significantly. Had she stayed standing, we might have been in a different situation here.
Yeah.
Then they kind of just cut to her, like she was in a good mood sitting, and then she's like shaking and in a bad place. She says something about being scared, and then she has to call it and leave at this point.
I was floored again.
Right, you're floored this. I'm totally like taken out because the edit just didn't show us her decline.
And then I was like, well, does that mean Danny gets all of the money? I'm like, all right. I mean, it works out for him. Like, that's kind of what I was thinking at that point. I was like, there's not going to be a female winner. Okay.
Right. I'm fine with that. But I think you have to have a female winner to go into this world championship. What I've learned from Kayla, so Kayla also didn't do exit press because she was traveling yesterday, but she is going to come on Nerdtainment when she gets back into town. So we'll get the legit story, but I do know that she was actually taken out by ambulance. They didn't show us any of this, but she legit like either had hypothermia or was on the brink of hypothermia. It seems like her exit might have been a bit more dramatic than we saw, but I think sitting on the ground would actually make hypothermia start to set into your body.
Why would they let it get to that point? We've seen it happen before that people have had to be taken out from the game for extreme temperatures like that. But like, that's not good TV for me, guys. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, so that's real disappointing that she like had to go out that way. But meanwhile, Sarah's still back at the original puzzle. So what we've learned though outside of this edit is that she did time out, whatever that means in these rules. She's going to time out on that first puzzle, aka Kayla can't compete. Sarah, you're the last woman standing. You have to keep going.
Did she have to do the Sudoku?
We don't see her do a Sudoku. We just see her sort of like crossing through that area, and she goes up the mountain. So I don't know what really happened. None of us do. I mean, some people do, but what they're going to tell us, I don't know. But Sarah is going to make it to the top of that mountain and be our woman winner. Okay, well, at least that's consistent. The last person can time out. True.
Except for Angela.
How can you determine if someone was trying to do a puzzle?
No, right. Or how much was Justine trying to memorize it? I'm fine with how that went for Justine, absolutely. But I'm just saying there's a little bit of holes here, but
yeah. So those are our winners, guys. The way this was edited, though, like it started to get so choppy. It's just like this person's out. Okay, Sarah's up the mountain. Okay, oh, these are our two winners. Oh, their money is weird. Okay, what? That's it. Okay, bye. That's it.
Now, Danny, we do want to know: are you going to represent the USA in this tournament?
Yes,
you saying yes?
He is. He's training by swimming.
Yes,
he said. Do you know when it is or anything like that, Danny? I don't know.
That's so. I mean, I love to have him represent this season. I mean,
yes.
But yeah, I think he'd be great. I want to see him do it again. Is Sarah doing it? Do we know? Did you ask her?
Yeah. They talked about how they both are like texting each other and helping each other to train.
That's great. I mean, I think that's great.
Yeah, it's good to know that Danny and Sarah can work well together because they got to go together to this whatever this world championship is. Okay, cool. Can't say got it, but yeah, no, that'll be exciting. I'm very much looking forward to seeing Danny
both
and Sarah.
of them. I'm happy to see Sarah compete in this level because I think that what I didn't know about Sarah was just her dynamic with Tyson and Angela. But as a competitor, like I would love to see her and Danny working together, strategizing together, like trying to bring it home. I think that will be a really great duo to see take down the other countries. So, I think it's a great pair.
So I tweeted out because I was. Y'all, again, this is my first season, right? I didn't know what to expect for a final. And I was shocked by all these quits, but because of how the money was set up, I thought, oh, I guess that was the whole setup. They want you to quit to put your money into a bigger bank.
Maybe.
So I tweeted that out. Like I legitimately was like, I don't understand the point here. And of course, a lot of people, chimed in with like, yeah, this seemed really extra or like never seen so many quitters. But of course, a lot of sassy people were like, you clearly have never watched a show before. This was nothing compared to other ones. So seems like a mixed review on
it was
I would final.
Say it wasn't the hardest final I've ever seen. It wasn't the easiest. I think it was right in the middle. Nothing that happened on that final stood out to me as being extremely difficult, except for the fact that the way that they decided to with the Ben situation, it actually messed everything up. And
That's-
so I've never
stunk.
seen them have to kind of figure things out on the fly like that, because it seems like
we better get a turkey leg, the world championship.
I always thought it was a bat, like Ozzy Osbourne. Anyways, but
who knows? I should have asked Sarah that.
Yes, actually.
What exactly was? Is it a turkey leg? Is it
that? I didn't. If I thought about it, I would have told you to ask her.
Right. Yes,
So,
we love and are excited about Danny.
Do we think there will be a season 2?
Do we want a season 2?
I love the season up until the final.
100%. The season was so good. I loved this season. I was confused by the final. It's not like it was bad. It was very confusing. And then the edit just got so choppy at the end that I didn't feel like I was on the ride with the winners. But I'm worried that this final makes the really good thing about the season was the cast is legit. Like, these are legends, like, right? Mm-hmm. Are we gonna get more legends in a season 2 after
the Hall Brawl stuff, and then the not being completely transparent about the money, and then like the final seeming to have some issues?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
Right. In the world of, these reality contestants, they're all talking and being very transparent about like the production. So if other people know that it's, you got to sign up for it is what it is instead of knowing exactly what it is, I'm worried we're going to go like pre-jury people. Is what I'm worried about. If we have a season 2. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Wow. But I will watch it. I will watch it.
Yeah, once I get over it, I'll watch it, I'm sure. But
I'm not watching the MTV one though.
Y'all gotta stop. That's fine. That's fine. Don't worry. I mean, I'm wondering though if like the MTV people, they're kind of used to these antics, and so maybe we don't see the frustration about some of these things because they know what their production company is going to do to them, and maybe because these are all people that are not familiar with this style of producing, they're irritated and pissed, and this isn't fair, and it's supposed to be like this, and so that could be why maybe we haven't heard of that many instances where things just didn't seem to be right. And so maybe here's
what I know from working in production. The shows like Jersey Shore and some other shows that are on MTV, it is a different style of production. It's very non-union style.
Guerrilla.
Not as professional as, some of the other shows like a Survivor, like a CBS show. It's just different production companies and it's a different style. And I know a lot of producers who, cut their teeth and like paid their dues on these MTV shows, and that's grueling.
Right.
Whereas you could come on a different show like where I didn't work those grueling hours. I was like, what? No, we have like, we get paid overtime and time and a half if we're like over 12 hours.
You're so right. MTV's non-union production and CBS is full SAG. So kind of thing. I don't know if they actually are, but like, yeah, like to compare them. I hated that twist, Danny. I hated it. I was so angry about that twist. I wish that we saw you give it to Jeff.
Nobody hated that twist more than Danny. Danny was like, not about it.
Twist. It's a lie.
It's a lie.
The challenge production is greater than?
Danny's like, I've been lied to before, and it was on Survivor. All right. Well, okay. So I'm not watching MTV, but I will watch a season 2 of this if it comes back, unless it's just a really bad cast. But fingers crossed.
You'll watch it. If you know all the people, you'll be intrigued.
Yeah. Well, I loved this season, though. I mean, I honestly did. I thought it was really fun. Most of the challenges I loved. It was so dramatic. I loved all the inner fighting and drama that happened. And Survivor is clearly the superior show, guys.
I mean, at this point, the challenge CBS is not greater than Survivor at this point.
And Danny, thank you for joining us throughout the season. And he's coming on Nerdtainment next week to join our Survivor draft for the new season. Yeah.
That's
So excited
fun.
about the new season of Survivor. So look out for that, you guys. I'll post that up soon. But that will be in some of our pre-party for Survivor next week. Woo woo. Exciting stuff. And everyone else in the chat, thank you guys for watching along with us this season, teaching me all about the challenge. Chantele, thank you for keeping me in the loop here, how this all works out. What's your overall feeling here, Chantele?
Well, I really wish that we had the final didn't have just these questions, because I think that, like, the winners, I'm happy with both of them being winners, but I just wish the path for everyone along the way was just a little bit different. But up until this point, I thought it was a really great season. I really enjoyed seeing the CBS cast people on like doing the MTV format. I thought it was compelling for me. I enjoyed it. So overall, I enjoyed the season, but then the stuff that went down really frustrated me a lot. So I think it's still a positive season, but I hate the fact that it makes Tyson never want to compete on it ever again, most likely. And say with Angela, most likely is not going to want to compete on it again. I wanted it to make people want to be part of the show as opposed to completely deter them from it. So
I know it would have been really exciting if it was like, this is it. Like, this is the new franchise. Oh, our CBS people. Yes. And it's unfortunate that it's because of production that's like basically ruined it.
But maybe if like a little bit of CBS maybe starts being like, hey, we're going to step in there and have a little bit of a rules police come in to make things fair along
they
the
should
way.
Just have a CBS production company and just needs to take over the reins. Like, it needs to be a different,
or at least company. Have somebody on site that's going to be helping with some of these decisions, because leaving it up to MTV seemingly is not working right now for CBS.
We have a ship name, Chantele.
Oh, yes, I'm Chantele.
That's right. Power duo Chantele over here, making it happen. And we will continue to make it happen because we got Survivor. We're also covering Amazing Race Australia currently. You got plenty of Chantele content coming your way. And obviously over on Reality Realness, what's happening over there?
I think things are kind of chilling out right now. So just doing the finale of The Bachelorette is kind of what's going on. And then on Tuesday, so we're going to have to figure out when we're going to do our recap for The Amazing Race next week, because things are all kind of all over the place and starting up again. But I will be hosting the question and answer for the Amazing Race Canada finale viewing party. So I can't remember off the top of my head what the address is, but I will be posting the flyer all around so people can come if you're in Toronto and you want to hang out with me and Phil and JoJo, and then some racers that are supposed to be there. So yes, if you're in Toronto.
Sounds fun. Canadians, get there. Do it. Well, that's awesome. Make sure that you guys are, subscribe so that you get our schedule changes when they happen. Because, this week has got some finales and premieres happening. It's going to be a busy but very fun week. Oh, wait. Is Bachelor in Paradise starting up?
Soon. I'll be doing it. I'll be taking care of that. Don't worry.
I actually watched that one.
Good. What about Bachelor in Paradise Canada?
I will watch you. Wait, what?
I said, what about Bachelor in Paradise Canada?
Is that a show?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know.
They go up to like Muskoka instead of like it's like nice, like camping kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very, very Canadian summer.
I love it. Sounds good. I will watch your recaps of all of it.
Okay, fun.
Even if I don't Watch the show. Okay. Yay. All right, you guys, if you watch this later, please leave a comment and let us know how you felt about this final. Let me know how you feel about Danny and Sarah as the winners. And I have some exit interviews on the channel. So if you haven't checked those out yet, check them out. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.